This is Norbert Braun. I am the payroll leader within the global payroll services within Wells Fargo Bank. Our business is banking, investment banking, wholesale banking, insurance businesses, and a few other ancillary types of financial services businesses. Currently, I am responsible for the payroll service delivery within 41 countries. First, I wanted to talk about what our HR and payroll model is at Wells Fargo. So we insource all of our HR support and processing. We insource our US payroll, but we outsource the non-US payrolls. And that's really the engagement that we have with CloudPay. The current state, we do operate in 41 countries that I mentioned earlier. We do have a very large population, so 265,000, that's constantly changing. The majority of that population is within the US, and it's supported by the insourced US payroll. The 41 countries and 265,000 employees really equates to running 60 unique payrolls. Majority of those are in the US, but we do run about almost 20 non-US payrolls. We started back in 2007 through 2010, we had around 27 providers. And those providers provided payroll services, but in some cases they provided other services as well. So accounting, tax, corporate tax services. So during those transitions, we needed to solution what vendor would actually support the non-payroll or non-HR work as well. And then finally, today we're at 13 vendors. So we have 13 different vendors, but I did want to call out that it is soon to be 7 because we actually are engaged with CloudPay as we speak to consolidate another 6 countries in one of our regions. So we will be down to 7 providers. Really, the goal of Wells Fargo is to have a few providers. So our model is to outsource the non-US payrolls, but the goal is to have a few. I wanted to comment on the standardization of payroll processes. So if you think of it, this is really close to my responsibility, managing large teams around the globe, different time zone, different cultures, and obviously local payroll requirements. So with standardization, we can build scale and efficiency. We can build a plan for business continuity planning, and we can always also build a plan for audit and control. The international payroll can be very difficult to time, the global payroll, but with building some scale and efficiencies, for example, inputs to the payroll provider. If those are consistent, it doesn't really matter if we're processing inputs for the Americas, for the EMEA region, or for the APAC region. If you have standardization, you can gain some scale there. In terms of reporting, if the reports are consistent from region to region, again, the standardization is building scale. And then finally, the payroll reconciliation process. If the first 2 items that I mentioned are consistent, the reconciliations are consistent. The second item that I wanted to talk about was business continuity planning. So normally when you have a business continuity or a BCP plan, you're dealing with 3 different areas: loss of human capital, loss of technology, or loss of physical space. With standardization and similar processes across the various regions, we can, if needed, we can shift that work to a different region and pick it up and move forward with it. And then finally, from the audit and control perspective, being in the financial services industry, we do have multiple audits each year. And it is very easy to present to the audit team, if that's either an internal or external team, that we do have standardized processes across the globe. And then really from a control perspective, the controls are consistent because of that standardization. When I think about consistency of reporting, I go directly to my vision of a dashboard and a balanced scorecard. Obviously with the CloudPay tools, and this is a screenshot of one of the tools that we use, we have the consolidated KPIs and the SLAs monthly that we review with the regional teams. But then also I can use that information to do the internal reporting for my dashboard and my balance scorecard. There's always the hard metrics, just the numbers. What's the volume? How many participants have we paid? What were the dollars? What were the taxes? But also where we're trying to get to is more of a predictive model. And that's really where we're heading. With the consistent reporting, we have a core and common GL solution that we use that's automated. And then really from an internal perspective, from an efficiency perspective, we have opportunities to manage my team's performance with using some of the analytics. So how well are we doing as a customer or a client of CloudPay? That's important with the relationship. They can provide the greatest service, but if we're not a good client, then it's going to detract from the service that I deliver to my customers.